Neighbors First Source, your Black Hills partner in building every step of the way.
Hi, this is Jeremy with Jerry's Cakes and Donuts, inviting you to kickstart your morning by dropping by and grabbing some fresh donuts. I want to thank you for voting us the best in the Black Hills. We're up early making your favorite donuts, so stop by and bring some to the office. Everybody loves Jerry's Cakes and Donuts, and we love you, so stop by, get a great selection to brighten up your day. Serving Rapid City for over 40 years, Jerry's Cakes and Donuts at 109 East Omaha, and remember to like Jerry's on Facebook for some great giveaways.
My reason why is community.
My reason why is leadership.
My reason why is to inspire others.
Why do thousands of teenagers here in South Dakota participate in high school sports and activities?
My reason why is friendship.
Their reasons are as diverse as the students themselves. But the one thing they all share is the opportunity to have fun and learn important life lessons. Lessons like supporting their community, learning how to be a leader, and building lifelong friendships.
My reason why is defying expectations.
Is there a grade school or middle school student in your family? Then encourage them to participate in a sport or activity when they go to high school.
My reason why is to make a change in the world.
This message presented by the NFHS and the South Dakota High School Activities Association.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
In the NBA, the New York Knicks have relieved Tom Thibodeau of his head coaching duties 5 years into his tenure. Thibodeau led the Knicks to their first East Finals in 25 years, made the playoffs in 4 of those 5 years, and led the Knicks to consecutive 50-plus win seasons for the first time since the 1990s. According to ESPN, the Knicks are singularly focused on their pursuit of a championship and believe a new voice will serve as a focus for the organization's next step. In the NFL, Texans quarterback C.J. Stroud has been sitting out of OTAs due to what was initially believed to be a pectoral issue and has since been reduced to what Coach DeMeco Ryans described today as general soreness. In baseball, Bryce Harper is back in the Phillies lineup today following a 5-game absence since taking a 95-mile-per-hour fastball to his right elbow. I'm Monty Bolaños.
It's time for South Dakota's Sports Talk Show. This is the Nate Brown Show, featuring live callers, great interviews, and thought-provoking sports talk. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
All right, good Tuesday afternoon to you. How are you? Glad you're here. Let's get it going tonight. South Dakota Sports Talk Show is back and ready. Your afternoon drive live on Fox Sports Radio. The Nate Brown Show is on, and I welcome you in. Thanks for making us a part of your day. Let's get it going tonight. Great guest lineup, a lot of content tonight. Let's get after it. Remember, it's always a great day in South Dakota. We know that. South Dakota Sports Talk Show live on Fox Sports Radio and also streaming on X right now. Follow us and watch us live on X at Nate Brown Show. Appreciate you doing that. And also on YouTube. The YouTube channel is up and live. The Nate Brown Show on YouTube. However you're accessing the program, welcome in across South Dakota. Great guest lineup. Let's tell you who's coming up, and then we'll get to it. Matt Zimmer is on tonight. SiouxFallsLive.com covers college sports, Jacks and Yotes. Something we always do in the summer. If you listen to this program a lot, you know it. We always try and make up new lists of our Mount Rushmore. This has been a tradition on the Nate Brown Show over the years. New sports lists of Mount Rushmore. Who would be on your Mount Rushmore of this category? Vikings, Packers, whoever. We have never done the Mount Rushmore of Jackrabbit football players. The Mount Rushmore of Jackrabbit football players. I thought, what better day to do it? A random Tuesday at the start of June. So you're in luck. Matt Zimmer, I've never asked him for his Jackrabbit Mount Rushmore players of all time. These are of all time now. This is hard for me to narrow down. I'm not a Jacks expert, so I'm going to go to Matt Zimmer to see what he would say. He's been covering the Jacks for quite some time now. That's coming up. Fun segment with Zim, SiouxFallsLive.com. Also, to the NBA. Finals start Thursday, but some news popping across the board. Keith Smith is on, NBA analyst, front office show, Spot Track contributor. Keith Smith on his preview of the NBA Finals and more. New high school basketball coach at Rapid City Stevens. I told you Chris Stabner resigned after 10 years at the Raiders. Now the new coach was hired this morning. Stevens is going to go with Brandon Yellowrobe, great basketball trainer, great basketball guy. I know Brandon. We'll talk to him tonight. Brandon Yellowrobe, new Rapid City Stevens head boys basketball coach. He's in. And finally, Chris Dankers on tonight, pro basketball scout, former D1 coach, current AAU club director. So he's got us covered all across the board of some segments I want to do with Chris tonight. Chris Danker live from San Jose, California, netscoutsbasketball.com. Some hoops, some football. We'll get it all covered. Let's get you on tonight. 605-720-1067. If you don't have the number saved, you got it. Put it in there. 605-720-1067. That's the Pizza Ranch studio hotline for the Nate Brown Show. Powered by the Pizza Ranch in Brandon, East 10th Street, Sioux Falls, and 2 locations, Rapid City, the home of everyone's favorite buffet by far, the Pizza Ranch studio hotline. Also, the Barron's Wilson text line. You can text the show. That's the next best thing. Text the show on the Barron's Wilson text line tonight, 605-720-1067. Thanks for being a part of the program. Let's get it going tonight. So, couple of national stories I'm going to get into and then break it off into something we've discussed, and then one of the biggest stars in sports today is discussing it. We've discussed it on this program. We're ahead of our time. And now that one of the biggest stars, in the history of sports, is discussing what we've talked about quite a bit. And I wonder if he says it, if now we're going to believe it. If I say it, we know. It's like my family. If I say it, we don't buy it. If somebody else says it, they buy. Okay, let's get into the story of the day first in the NBA. I'm going to be quick on this. I hate to tell you. It's my opening monologue. I'm going to be quick because there's really not much else to say. New York Knicks fire Tom Thibodeau. If you haven't heard that, that came out this afternoon. The Knicks fire Tom Thibodeau. And I'm going to just go through some things here, okay? So if you're like, well, they got beat in the Eastern Conference Finals. Maybe they shouldn't have gotten beaten by the Pacers. Yeah, that's just the way sports is. You got to win. Thibodeau led the Knicks to their first Eastern Conference Finals in 25 years. This is the Knicks. They've been dog biscuits. They have been bad. Tom Thibodeau made the playoffs in 4 of 5 years. 4 of 5 years, playoffs. Now you can say, oh, it's easy to make the playoffs. Not for the Knicks. Not for the Knicks. Okay, so 4 of 5 years and one more. Thibodeau led the Knicks to consecutive 50-plus win seasons for the first time since the 90s. They had over 50 wins back-to-back for the first time since the 90s. And so the New York Knicks, they go into the front office and they just say, well, we got to find somebody that's just going to be able to take us over the top. We got to find that. Can you guys find a unicorn in NBA coaching? Who is a unicorn in NBA coaching? Like Phil Jackson? Is he like the last coach that anybody thought knew what he was doing? Players, audience, front office. Is he the last guy in the history of the NBA that people thought he actually knows what he's doing? What do I mean by this? There's nobody, no coach in the NBA gets any respect. Zero. Zero. This is a player entitlement thing. And why do I say that? Here's a report from Knicks Fan TV. Okay, Knicks Fan TV. The main theme as it related to Thibodeau was that players on the Knicks did not know their role. Roles were not clarified on this team. That was the main theme. Players not knowing their roles is what led to Tom Thibodeau being fired. That's just one random thing. But I'm not surprised by it. We come up with this make-believe, bogus stuff. It's just absolute garbage to figure out, well, this coach just doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't define the players' roles. He's just missing something. The players are tired of listening to him. He just didn't quite make the right decisions. It's like, give me a break. I don't think Tom Thibodeau is a Hall of Famer like Phil Jackson, maybe. I mean, but I'm just telling you, he led the Knicks to the Eastern Conference Finals first time in 25 years. I don't think they were, like, overly talented. They just had a bunch of hardworking players, pretty nice players, but hard workers. Kind of fits Thibodeau's mentality. And we're trying to talk about roles of players, and that's why you get fired. I mean, this is just absolute garbage. How do you survive as an NBA coach? Does anybody know? I mean, this has to, you know how a lot of us have job reviews? I used to have job reviews. Now I try and give myself a job review. You guys give me a job review every day. You guys are tough. But job reviews, you go in and you're supposed to have documentation. Here's what you did. Here's our goals. Here's our 2-year plan. Here's what I need you to do. Boom, boom, boom. And then you go into the job review and you see, am I going to be a part of the team? Am I going to get a raise? How are things going? Am I executing? The job review in the NBA has to be impossible. What's the job review? Let's see, 50-plus wins back-to-back years, first time since the 90s. Playoffs 4 out of the last 5 years. Just made the Eastern Conference Finals, our best year in 25 years. You're fired. What? Huh? Well, the players didn't know their roles. So tell me. I mean, this is just absolutely bogus. Just absolutely bogus. Let's see here. Listener text. I don't think he made adjustments, and he burns his players out at both ends. Well, they win. The Knicks have been dog biscuits, right? Did the Knicks have a good enough team to win the whole thing? I don't think so. So, it's just, you can't win. I mean, you cannot win as an NBA coach. That has to be one of the hardest jobs because you're dealing with these personalities and all of these expectations. I mean, I was surprised by that when Tom Thibodeau today gets fired by the Knicks, and I never get surprised about NBA firings anymore. I mean, never. I was surprised by that one. Just give me a break. Thanks for calling. You're live, and you go ahead.
Hey, Nate. Thanks for taking my call. I'm definitely surprised by it too, but like you said, nothing surprises you anymore. Like, I mean, like Mike Malone got fired. I didn't think he would get fired.
Same thing. And players, got tired of listening to him.
I think that kind of like, I don't know if it's players or just how they work with the GM or whatever, but like that kind of edgy, like defensive-minded coach, I think is probably done in the NBA, don't you?
Well, that's interesting. So Thibodeau, defensive-minded, kind of gruff, kind of tough, right?
Yeah, same with Malone.
Yep. No, I know what you're saying, man. Thanks. I appreciate it. Yep. I think that's, I don't know, that the personality, what do you have to be? I mean, so Greg Popovich was like that too. And Popovich lasted a long time because he won all the time, the whole thing, and running the Spurs. I mean, he is the Spurs. So there's maybe the last guy. I mentioned Phil Jackson was like the last guy that got respect of everybody. Maybe it was Popovich, maybe. But I even was hearing things as Popovich towards the end here was really not, rubbing the players wrong, right? So, it's just... Yeah, it's too old school. Tom Thibodeau reminds you old school defense, gruff, going to get after you. Let's get after this. Really competitive, a tough nose, going to yell at guys. I mean, it's like you can't yell at guys. Same thing, Mike Malone, Denver. Everyone's like, oh, he's just not good anymore. These guys know basketball. They obviously know it really, really well. And then we fire guys just on a whim. Just fire guys on a whim. It's just amazing to me. Listener text, T-Wolves assistant will be the next Knicks coach. Book it. T-Wolves assistant, Nori, will be the next Knicks coach. Wow, some breaking news on the Nate Brown Show on the text line. I appreciate that. Let's go to this. Because this transitions into this day and age in sports. So LeBron James was on a big podcast, Mind the Game. This is Steve Nash. So Steve Nash does this podcast. He talks to players, stuff like this. This week, LeBron James is on the Mind the Game podcast, and I took away two things. I went and listened to it here. And the main two highlights, LeBron James talked about kids today playing basketball. As a matter of fact, not just basketball, but playing sports today. And LeBron had a couple of things that he shared with Steve Nash. And I got to say, do you guys agree with LeBron for the first time in your life? Hang on, here's what he had to say. LeBron James said, there's a problem with youth sports today. And this isn't reinventing the wheel. He might have been listening to the Nate Brown show. LeBron says, we ran track and field. He's talking about himself. Track and field, played football through high school. He said, me and my buddies, we just didn't do one thing all year round. I think a lot of kids today, they burn out. They burn out early. So LeBron says problem there in youth sports is if you're a basketball player and you do it year round, this is LeBron James, that's not great. And again, we've talked in this program, benefits of youth, benefits of multiple sports. Can you do multiple sports if you're not an elite athlete? And I bring that up because LeBron can say that, and I think a lot of people agree with that. LeBron's 6'9", 250. And he was not 6'9", 250 in high school, but he was pretty good size. I think LeBron, I was watching his high school football highlights. It wasn't because he practiced football all the time. He was just better than everybody. So he could run onto the football field and absolutely smoke you. It didn't matter how many training sessions he did at Sanford. Okay? I mean, he's just better than you. And so he's talking about careful, playing one sport all year round. I get it. I know the lesson. I understand it. Here's the other takeaway. Now, this is interesting. LeBron says all these kids are getting training so early. Training. LeBron says today on the podcast, I didn't have a basketball trainer until my time in the NBA. My basketball training was just being on the court. Let's just go play. That was the quote from LeBron James, mind the game. So he said, I didn't have basketball trainers and teaching me all this stuff. Again, 6'9", 250, kind of a head start over Nate Brown when I was trying to learn. Thanks for calling. You're live today, and you go ahead.
Hey, Nate. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man.
Happy Tuesday.
What do you say?
So I agree with him for once. That's not something that's normal for me to agree with LeBron, but
okay.
I do think, like, you have commercials on from the South Dakota Athletic Administration, whatever. It's like My Reason Why.
Yep.
Right? Like, not everybody plays sports because they're great athletes, right? Like, you do it because you got friends that are doing it,
sure,
something to do after school, like, all those kind of things.
Fun.
So I really, if you're that good, like, if you're going to be in professional versions of whatever sport you're playing, I can see why you would want to specialize. And even then, maybe he's got a point, you burn out. But I did it because, like, I needed something to do the 3 different seasons, like wrestling, track, football. Like,
and your parents didn't say, we're going to get you training in this sport and that sport.
Oh, God, no. No, it was like, get out of the house, right? Like, I know there's more options to do in the house now, but back in the 90s and early 2000s,
no, right,
we didn't have those options. So.
No, I'm with you. By the way, I know what he's saying. I got better when I just played wiffle ball in my backyard with my buddies instead of going to a travel tournament playing Little League Baseball somewhere in Denver. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. It's developing your coordination, right? Like, if you're playing multiple sports, like, you do get better just as an all-around athlete, right? It's like why farmers and ranchers are really good at weightlifting because they throw heavy crap around all day long.
Yeah, not bad. No, it's interesting. It's interesting.
Yeah, all right.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you. He's saying I didn't have this is LeBron James on the podcast today. I didn't have a basketball trainer until my time in the NBA. That's what he's saying. So he's saying, I didn't go through all the skill development and all the workouts that the kids are doing today. But again, my point, and I understand, I was like that too. So we went down and played basketball. We just played street ball. I just played street ball, 3-on-3. That's what we did. I didn't do specific skills training. I went to a couple of camps here and there. I went to a college camp overnight for a week. You know, so that was like a big thing. But I didn't do summer workout and training. However, I don't know if he's totally right. Not everybody's going to be LeBron James and can say, well, you don't have to do basketball training. Because take a look around. A lot of people are doing basketball training. They're doing this training. They're doing that training because they're not going to be 6'9", 250. So he's got a point. It's like, well, back in the day, it was just as kids, I went and played. We just played basketball. My basketball training was just going on the court, playing basketball. Well, you can do that too, but I don't think it's a negative to say, well, I'm getting training and I'm doing that whole thing. LeBron's kind of saying, well, I didn't have a basketball trainer. It's a different time. It is a different time. I believe that myself. I don't 100% agree with LeBron. I was LeBron, minus the 6'9", 250, but I was LeBron just playing basketball when I was a kid. I did it for many, many years. But I also understand the new model now and the extra work. Let's see. Listener text, Nate Brown joining the local wiffle ball league soon? I heard about this. It's like a wiffle ball league or something. I saw pictures online. If it's online, it's true, right? There was pictures of a wiffle ball league. I'd be a player. A player. Chris Danker's in next. He's an AAU basketball club director. He does trainings every day. Chris Danker does trainings every day. What does he think about LeBron saying, I didn't have a basketball trainer till I was in the NBA? Chris Danker, pro basketball scout, D1 coach next.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
The summer heat will be here, but our hot summer savings is off every money down for 12 months. Get an extra 5% off your entire project if purchased on initial consultation. Hurry, this exclusive offer won't last long. Now is the perfect time to upgrade your windows and doors, so grab these hot savings while you can. Call today or visit rbarapidcity.com to book your free estimate.
Kelley Blue Book Instant Cash Offer from Denny Menholt Toyota. Use your phone, it's fast and easy. Pull up our website, click on Value Trade-In, scan your VIN, and tell us about your car. You are on your way to a no-hassle, no-commitment cash offer on your vehicle in under 5 minutes. Bring your vehicle and your Kelley Blue Book Instant Cash Offer to Denny Menholt Toyota and get cash or trade-in credit today. See you soon at Denny Menholt Toyota, Rapid City.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Cloudy tonight with a slight chance for storms. Lows around 47, southwest winds around 5 miles per hour. Storms likely tomorrow, daytime highs approaching 63, sunshine mixed with clouds at times. Partly cloudy skies, tomorrow night, slight chance of thunderstorms, lows dip down to about 46. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently 57.
Whether you're a pro or a Joe, a weekend warrior or a gardening great, Monument Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine is here when you need us. Nobody plans an injury, but when people throughout the Black Hills and beyond suffer a setback, Monument Health Orthopedics is here to provide comprehensive medical care. Our team of board-certified orthopedic surgeons and specialists is dedicated to helping patients regain the quality of life they've lost due to an injury, arthritis, or joint wear and tear. Monument Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine for everyday athletes like you.
This isn't just the sound of a legendary Brunswick pool table. It's the sound of families about to make memories together. And while this may sound like the hum of a spa, listen closely, and you'll hear backyard fun for years to come. So while Splash City's guarantee of quality sure sounds good, we know quality time sounds even better.
Who wants another burger?
Splash City, 1024 West Omaha, across from Connects in Rapid City.
Live callers, big-time interviews, and breaking sports news. This is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown.
We're just getting started on a Tuesday night, the Nate Brown Show live. Glad you're here, kicking off summer. It's summer now, right? Finally summer. We take that in South Dakota. South Dakota Sports Talk Show live, Fox Sports Radio. Stream us right now on X at Nate Brown Show. Answer our questions of the day. We haven't even gotten to some of those today. Wild. We'll get to the questions of the day. Hang on. Matt Zimmer's coming up. It's the first ever South Dakota State Jackrabbit football Mount Rushmore list. Who are the top 4 players of all time you'd put on your Jackrabbit football Mount Rushmore list? The first Mount Rushmore list debut this summer on the Nate Brown Show. It's coming up with Matt Zimmer, Sioux Falls Live. Chris Denker's in tonight talking hoops. I want to get his read on a couple of big things. NetScoutsBasketball.com. Former D1 coach Chris Denker back on. Chris, how are you?
Good, Nate. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate the time as always. So I started my show with the big news of the day. That's Tom Thibodeau getting fired. I'm just trying to figure it out, Chris. I'm just a basketball fan in South Dakota. I look at the NBA coaching carousel, and I say Thibodeau got him to the Eastern Conference Finals first time in 25 years, so their best year, 25 years. Playoffs 4 of 5 years, 50-plus wins back-to-back years. And we're letting go of these coaches. I mean, it's like, how do you maintain, how do you survive as an NBA coach?
Yeah, it makes you shake your head. I don't know if you said this or not, but I read somewhere 24 playoff wins is more than the past 13 coaches combined.
Wow.
For the Knicks. So, yeah, I mean, what do you want? They had a great season. Obviously, everybody in pro sports is trying to win a championship. But they've been, on that progression and obviously beating the defending champion in Boston. And, they ran into a hot Pacers team. And I think if game 1 went different, we might be talking about a different series. But nevertheless, woulda, coulda, shoulda. It's still, it's not a perfect roster. They made some changes to it this year. Things worked out well for them, but they still don't have a lot of depth. Now, part of that is Tibbs. He doesn't play a lot of guys. If he could play 8 or 9, maybe 9, he'd probably be happy. But I think over the course of the season, you'd want to have a little more depth that maybe could come and help you in the playoffs. But they had some veteran depth in Shamet and guys like that. Nevertheless, again, great season. I don't know what more you could possibly want from a coach.
I don't know if I said gone are the days of the coach that just gets everybody's respect, like players, front office, fans. I said I think the last one maybe was Popovich, maybe because he won there in San Antonio, but that even kind of started going south a little bit here late. I said Phil Jackson, like, well, all the championships. Nobody's going to disrespect Phil. Is there any other NBA coaches that are going to be like, oh, this guy's safe forever?
More and more, I don't know. I mean, it's funny because, again, you go back to, you could look at the NFL, you could look at Major League Baseball, the different sports and the franchises who've had coaches for a long time. Currently, Steve Kerr with the Warriors has had a lot of success. But even if you look at this year's team, they were struggling. And they had, one of the all-time greats in Steph Curry, another in Draymond Green. They had some draft, I think you got to talk about the relationship between coaching and the general manager and the draft because that's a big part of it. And I wasn't a fan of the Warriors. But that said, they were struggling until what? They went and got Jimmy Butler. And all of a sudden now Steve Kerr can coach again. And it's not that he couldn't at all in the first place, but when you don't have a roster, you just can't compete, against some of these teams. And that's one of the reasons why I think the Suns did have a vacancy there's a lot of just dissension and just goofiness going on there. But they tried the whole, we're going to get 3 big-name guys, and Bradley Beal, since the day he got there, hasn't been a good player. And so, they really struggled, and so now they're firing their coach. But then you got teams that are winning, like the Knicks, and they're firing their coach. Memphis.
Yes.
That guy was all the rage. Jenkins was all the rage a couple years ago. Gets into the playoffs. What did he do wrong? Fired. So it's just crazy how it's hard to make sense of it.
Do you think the bigger weight is the GM coach thing, as you mentioned, the GM coach, and do we get along? Are we on the same page? Or is it the players saying a lot more now?
Well, there's a lot of that, with the players. It's really hard when you're paying them the money that you're paying them. It's starting to happen at the collegiate level, which is why you see guys leaving both in football and in men's basketball. Like a Jay Wright stepping down and these different coaches saying, I'm tired of all this NIL money, because now when your players can make $1, $2, $3, $4 million, they're certainly making more than the assistant coaches, and in many respects more than the head coach. And so, are they actually listening? And so it's difficult. Now you go to the pro level, and it's obviously always been like that. So you have to have a guy that has a Greg Popovich or a Steve Kerr, or you mentioned Phil Jackson. Doc Rivers has been around it, won it, and was a player. So, holds a little water when he walks into the room. Maybe he can get guys' attention. But I just really believe that a lot of it is I think there, in fairness to players, there's a lot of players out there that want to be coached. And regardless of what money they make or whatever, they're fine getting hollered at, held to a level of expectation, because they want to be great. And so, I can get behind that. The part for me is some of the oddities around the general manager and the way some of these things are run, the guys they want to have. That was the problem with the Nuggets.
Yeah.
Booth and Malone weren't getting along because Booth wanted certain players and he wanted them to play. And frankly, I think he made some bad picks, and the way they structured some contracts. The same with the Warriors. Before Dunleavy got there was some weird. You go back and look at their drafts, going back to maybe a year or two before COVID. I mean, it's a nightmare. It's hard pressed to find a guy, who's panned out. Ironically, one of the best is their second-round draft pick last year, Quentin Post, of all people, who actually played for them when it mattered. And, people could say what they want about Kuminga, but he hasn't done anything when they've needed it. And so, I just don't understand how you can have, at any level, and whether it's, again, football, Major League Baseball, certainly basketball, to where there's no concept behind, this is how we're going to play, this is how my coach coaches, these are what the assistants are going to work on, the player and skill development guys are going to work on, and the type of player we're going to draft. And again, just circling back to like the Knicks, they're trying to win a championship. Don't go draft a 19-year-old kid that needs 4 years to develop. And that's what the Warriors did. But you can't go do stuff like that with a veteran. You do that right now with like a Jokic in Denver, he's going to laugh at you. Never mind the coach. You got to have guys who can play now and help you win now.
The annual review process for NBA coaches, it's just bizarre. The job review process is very interesting. Thibodeau's out with the Knicks. Chris Danker is on tonight, pro basketball scout, Net Scouts Basketball. So you're an AAU director, Chris. So here's something that I want you to read on. LeBron James was on Steve Nash's podcast this week. Here's the quote. LeBron James, I didn't even have a basketball trainer until I got in the NBA. My basketball training was just being on the court. Let's just go hoop. So he's kind of saying, he's talking about youth sports and kids specializing. He said, I don't love that. I played football. We did track. So I get that. He says, I didn't even have a basketball trainer. Neither did I, Chris, and maybe neither did you. I don't know. I just did go and play street ball, and I played with my buddies, and we got good. But kids are getting trained now, and I still think that's good, too. So what's LeBron trying to say?
Yeah, for me, it isn't just the trainer side of it, although I didn't have a trainer either, just like you. But I shot a lot out in my driveway, and I would wear out ball after ball just shooting, or working on dribbling and things like that. And then the playing side of it, you say, going playing with your guys. whether that's one-on-one or a 3-on-3 game of kids on the street. Or what we did is in the town that I grew up in, we had 2 outdoor courts. One was a 2-court complex, and the other one was one in a park. And you'd show up and play there, and the local frat boys would be over there, and, they're older than us, we're 14, 15-year-old playing with 21, 22-year-old guys, adults, etc. And it made you better. And, you could go get into a game at the YMCA, and it would make you better. And kids don't do that anymore. Parents, and like you said, I run an AU club, and I see it firsthand. They want to pay to bring their kid and drop them off and be under supervised, and then, okay, now I'm going to come pick them up and take them home, and then how many games are we going to get to play in, or, whatever. So whatever I do in practice is the only basketball they're getting that week, and that's the problem. And so, like with my club, we make videos, and we send them videos, because we know they've all got phones. And so we give them videos, and we say, here's the drills you're going to do, and you owe me homework. You got to do your homework drills, because otherwise they won't do it. And it's a shame. I don't know what it is about our culture nowadays in terms of kids doing this type of stuff, but they aren't playing in games in the street like we used. We used to play touch football out in the street. I'm sure you guys played some form of wiffle ball or baseball with a tennis ball or whatever, and we used to do that all the time, and nowadays you just don't see it. So I think that's what LeBron's talking about. Now, I think there's something to be said for, and I know there's a couple in South Dakota that are really good, guys that do skill training, and you could go get a trainer and just work on your game. You got to pay for it, but at least what's wrong with it, I think what he's talking about is just the AAU game concept, where all you're doing is getting on a team, and then every weekend you go playing games, and they're just random. How much you going to play? How much you touching the ball? Are you shooting more than this guy? Are you getting a chance to truly work on stuff? The answer to all those is no, not enough. And I think maybe that's what he's talking about. And I happen to know Steve Nash because he was at Santa Clara when I was coaching the women's side, and so I know Steve well. But he was a guy that was a grinder. He was in the gym at 10 o'clock at night shooting and working on ball handling and doing all that stuff. So I know that's where he's coming from. It's just the kids nowadays that think if I just go put on a uniform and play in games, I'm going to get better. I don't think that's the case.
And here's the thing, Chris. The next generation, they're going to be using basketball trainers, as in my generation, your generation. I think we're closer to the same age. We went down to the park. We went here, as we just said. So I think you're doing kind of the same thing. I just say, hey, using basketball trainers, that's just what this generation from here on out's doing, right?
Yeah, and there's a little wave now on social media. There's a guy out of Canada that has a website. He does a lot of podcasts with coaches. But his big push is, and he speaks around the world. He's recently, I noticed on Twitter, he was in Australia at a clinic, and he's here in the States a lot in clinics and whatnot. And his big thing is to get your kids, as coaches, to get your kids to make decisions and learn to do things on their own, less structure. Don't run plays, have them learn to do. But the point being is, he's just saying what you and I, Nate, did ourselves.
Yeah.
We went out and played with older guys, and some 35-year-old guy'd say, hey, come set a screen, block your man out.
Right.
Get out and guard that guy. Get a hand up. Things like that we just learned, through survival. If we wanted to win the game and stay on the court, we had to figure it out. And so this guy's making money now, which, credit to him, he's doing a good job. But it's like that's what he's saying. He's saying these kids have to have a chance to go out and experiment, fail, learn, get better. And, it's saying, coaches shouldn't have to structure all that, but that we are.
No, I got it. I think it's I wanted to get your read on that. Interesting stuff. LeBron said he didn't have a basketball trainer until he was in the NBA. And I did say it does help when you're 6'9", 250. I mean, that does help. A little bit. Chris Denker on tonight, netscoutsbasketball.com live. Chris, good to have you. Thanks a lot.
Always appreciate you, Nate. Thank you.
Appreciate your time. Talking hoops with Chris Denker, NBA, former D1 coach, pro basketball scout. NetScoutsBasketball.com. Runs an AAU club in California. That's interesting. All right. Matt Zimmer's on next on the Nate Brown Show. It is the South Dakota State football Mount Rushmore list. We've never had it. I said, why don't we do this? Is this tough? Who would you put up there? Your top 4 Jackrabbit football players of all time. Anybody from the D2 era? Maybe most recently, Dallas Goedert. Is he on there? Is Mark Gronowski on there? The recent QB. Walter Payton Award winner. So think about this. If you're a Jacks fan, I want you to submit your Jackrabbit Mount Rushmore all-time football list. Okay? All-time. 4 names. Who would you put up there? 605-720-1067 on the text line. I'm interested in Matt Zimmers. He'll tell me next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
At Dakota Bank, we're more than just a place to bank. We're your neighbors. From everyday banking to home mortgages, insurance, and trust services, we're here for every step of your financial journey. We believe in doing what's right for you because we live here, work here, and care about our communities just like you do. Go with confidence, go with trust, go with Dakota Bank. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Insurance and investment products are not FDIC insured, may lose value, and have no bank guarantee.
Could there be a better name? Auto Value Parts Stores. They aren't just about air fresheners or fuzzy dice. Auto Value Parts Stores are all about parts, auto parts, and advice. Pros who know auto parts with tons of tips when you need them the most. You want real value? Don't go to a place with a cute name. Go to Auto Value. Could there be a better name? I didn't think so. Your Auto Value Parts Store. We've got the parts, we've got the smarts.
Mr. Liquor 2 would like to thank the thousands of customers who purchased spirits in their new location off Catron since they opened in mid-November. Join the crowd who's discovered the unmatched selection of spirits, beers, and wines. Order from their 20 draft beers in the adjoining Campfire Bar and enjoy it while you shop. Plus, keep up to date on in-store beverage tastings and food truck appearances on the Mr. Liquor Facebook page. Thank you again for your business from the new Mr. Liquor 2 off Catron next to Walmart or their original location on the corner of West Chicago and Sturgis Road in Rapid City.
Eating in Deadwood has so many options thanks to Tin Lizzy Gaming Resort. Wake up with the trusted taste of Starbucks or sit down to a full breakfast at Best Brews. Looking for lunch? Build a wonderfully fresh sandwich from Jersey Mike's. Grab some quick and cheesy goodness from Pizza Hut or pull up a chair in Patty O'Neill's Irish Pub. Need something a little more intimate for dinner? Well, Snitches is all the buzz with an evolving menu of chef-designed culinary creations. There's something for everyone to eat at Tin Lizzy Gaming Resort, located on historic Main Street in Deadwood.
Whether you run the race, make the catch, cast a line, pitch a tent, or just look good doing it, Shields Rapid City has your gear. From athletic clothing from your favorite team, cold weather gear to keep you warm, to the best camping selection this side of the Black Hills, and the most stylish and functional women's outerwear and footwear. Shields has the widest selection of the best brands in the business. So when you're ready to get out, get in the game, or get going, get to Shields. Shields, we're right there with you at Rushmore Crossing in Rapid City.
The doctors and staff at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center have provided expert bone, joint, and muscle care to patients in the Black Hills area since 1976. Whether you're an elite athlete, a weekend warrior, or just want to continue your active lifestyle, the orthopedic experts at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center will help you stay in the game. Don't let an injury keep you from doing the things you love. Trust the team at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center, specializing in what moves you. Learn more at bhosc.com.
Are you thinking about starting or Hills Federal Credit Union, our dedicated business lending team focuses on understanding our members' unique needs and truly wants to help them succeed. From the loans to get your business off the ground to the accounts to keep it running, we offer unique products with your business's best interest in mind. Learn more at bhfcu.com or text or call 605-718-1818. BHFCU is a member-owned, not-for-profit.
This is The Nate Brown Show, also streaming live on YouTube. Subscribe to The Nate Brown Show on YouTube.
That's a good tune right there. That is a solid tune today on a Tuesday. You know you found the Nate Brown Show. You got a little Def Leppard rolling tonight. Def Leppard and South Dakota Sports Talk Show live. Fox Sports Radio, welcome in. Glad to have you on board. A lot to discuss tonight. A lot to discuss. Haven't even gotten to our question of the day, but we got a big one out there. South Dakota State football Mount Rushmore list. We've done Mount Rushmore lists every summer on this program. It's tourist time in South Dakota, right? So we do our Mount Rushmore list. We've done best South Dakota sports figures of all time. We've done best Vikings. We've done a ton. NFL QBs, Vikings, Broncos. We've never done Jackrabbit football players. Jackrabbit football, Mount Rushmore, all time. So for a guy that knows Jackrabbit football, I'm like, let's get Matt Zimmer on. Will he do it? Let's do it. SiouxFallsLive.com. He covers the Jacks, Yotes, and more. SiouxFallsLive.com. Matt, good to have you. How are you?
I'm good, Nate. How are you?
I'm doing good. So when I sent you that text, I said, hey, I want to do some Mount Rushmore Jackrabbit football. Have you been through this exercise before?
I have, but it was funny. I misread your text at first. I thought you were saying Jackrabbit Athletics at large, and I literally was sitting there going, oh, my God, how can I narrow this down to 4? Because I'm kicking around basketball and football and baseball and
tough.
Men and women. Yeah. And then I looked again. I was like, oh, he said just football. Oh, that's way easier.
Okay, so is it easy?
What's that?
Is it easy?
I don't know if I'd say it's easy, because obviously the list of greats is getting bigger every year, and with the success they've had the last couple of years, there's certainly more guys to choose from, and plus you've got the Division I era versus the Division II era, and how do you compare those? But I think, it didn't take me long to get you a list of 4.
No.
Because I feel like three of them are no-brainers.
Okay.
Adam Vinatieri is the greatest kicker of all time. He's going to the Hall of Fame. Jim Langer's already in the Hall of Fame. And Mark Gronowski led them to 2 national championships, is probably right now regarded as kind of the all-time great of South Dakota State football, largely on the basis of those national championships. So then for your 4th, you could go to a Pete Retzlaff from the old days. You could go to a Josh Ronick from the Division II era.
Yeah.
Zach Zenner, Taryn Christian, Tucker Kraft and Mason McCormick. By the time they're done, they could have something to say about it. But I felt like number 4 was Dallas Goedert, just in that I think in the Division I era so far, he's been probably the best all-around player, and he's carried that into the NFL too. Obviously, he's a Pro Bowl caliber tight end. Like I said, Tucker Kraft is right on his heels, and some other guys. But for me right now, he gets the 4th spot.
Here's the hard part for me. When I do these Mount Rushmore lists, they're just for fun, but everybody's wondering, okay, is this how good they were at SDSU, or is this how good they are after? Like Goddard, he's the real deal in the NFL. Is Mark Gronowski going to be that? Well, we don't know yet. And so you look at it. Here's who I threw in there. I threw in Taryn Christian in mine. I threw in Taryn Christian because all the school records, total offense, touchdowns, yards, the whole thing. And maybe it was just the career there. Do you put Gronowski over Christian because the titles, the Walter Payton Award, that thing?
I do. I think those 2 are obviously the 2 best quarterbacks in school history, and I think Gronowski's numbers are almost as good as Taryn's anyway, and then you throw in the national championships. I think that clearly pushes him over. But you raise a good point, because if you're going just what they accomplished at SDSU, then Adam Vinatieri isn't on the top 50.
Right.
He didn't do anything for the Jacks. He got benched, ended up punting as much as he was kicking, and kind of stumbled in Hall of Fame kicker later in life. So you're right, there are different ways to look at that. And if you do want to make it more about what happened at SDSU, then sure, get Vinatieri out of there, and maybe you replace him with Zach Zenner or Taryn Christian or Josh Ronick. You think about it, it's a football program that goes back over 100 years. And, obviously they've taken their program and its national brand to a whole nother level in the last 10, 15, 20 years. But they had a very proud history in Division II. When Division II meant something a little more because it was bigger, a lot of the schools that were Division II then are Division I now. The North Central Conference, how important that was. That was a really great era of football for a long time. So, you could make a Mount Rushmore of just Division II guys, and obviously one of just Division I guys. It's a program that goes a long way.
Matt Zimmer on tonight's SiouxFallsLive.com. I threw him into the mix on the Mount Rushmore list for Jackrabbit football players of all time. He gave his 4. I went Mark Gronowski, Taryn Christian, Dallas Goedert. I went Zach Zenner. 3 consecutive seasons over 2,000 yards. You know how good Zenner was. Went into the pros as well. And then I saw Sam Herder, the FCS writer. He said, well, what about Isaiah Davis? What about Pierre Strong? How do you compare those running backs?
I think Zenner gets the nod. 3 straight 2,000-yard seasons. He dominated on a level I don't think those other two guys did, although they got drafted and Zach didn't. But Zach had an NFL career, and it wasn't just a cup of coffee. He was in the league for 4 or 5 years and started some games. I think Zenner's the clear-cut number one among the running backs. Your list is great as a Division I only list. Like I said, Jim Langer's in the Hall of Fame. Adam Vinatieri's going to be in the Hall of Fame, but again, that was a different era. It was thousands of years ago. It's hard to compare eras and anytime we have any of these discussions about who's the best this or that, someone always has to say, well, it's hard to compare eras. It is. Was Babe Ruth better than an average player today? We'll never know.
Right. No, I'm with you on that. It's tough. I got some feedback here. I put out the question, who's the best offensive Jackrabbit player of all time? And so I put my Mount Rushmore list up there, and I want to see, okay, who's the audience on Twitter? This is the magic space of Twitter. The number one vote getter, 39%, so it's a pretty healthy clip. Zach Zenner, number one.
He was really good, man. 3 straight 2,000-yard seasons, and he did it when they weren't as dominant a team then as they are now. They didn't have the offensive lines that they do now. The competition was a little bit better because he didn't have – a lot of the teams that he was playing against are at the FBS level now. He had some big games against FBS teams. I think he ran for 200-something yards against Illinois, had a big game against Nebraska. Zach Zenner maybe gets lost in the shuffle a little bit because he didn't win a national championship because he wasn't drafted. But he was really, really, really good. And I think, too, he gets maybe some extra points, sort of in the same way that a Nate Walters would in basketball. He was kind of the first superstar of the Division I era. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of the guy that gave some credibility to that Division I move, like, hey, this is legit. This is a real D1 program. Look at this guy we got. He's really good. I have no problems or no surprise that he's the leading vote getter.
Zach Zenner, number one player of all time for the Jacks on offense, is the Twitter audience on the Nate Brown Show. Matt Zimmer's on tonight. Okay, fun exercise. Mount Rushmore list for Jackrabbit football players. You could submit yours on the text line 605-720-1067 as those come in. I want you to read on this. You're working SiouxFallsLive.com. I follow you guys. You do a great job. This is the new media. I started thinking about this over the weekend. The past 10 years, is sports coverage in South Dakota better or worse? And I combine these things. Traditional media like radio stations, okay? I used to go to games and do games. There was 5 radio stations there. It was the thing. Mm-hmm. Now there's maybe 1 or 0. Newspapers, you know this. 5 people working stories, going to games. Now there's 1. So is sports coverage, but the new media, I've got it on my phone, Matt. You submit a story, boom, it's right here. You're at an event, you're giving updates on the Jacks, it's right here, right now. So is it better or worse over the last 10 years in South Dakota?
I don't think you can say with a straight face that it's better. And I say that while I'm trying to encourage people to subscribe to the company that I work for, but the only reason I say that is because, like you just said it. How can you say it's better when we used to have 3 TV stations, dozens of radio stations, multiple newspapers, and multiple people from each newspaper? When I started at the Argus Leader 25 years ago or 20 years ago, there were like 50 people in that newsroom. There were 10 people in the sports department. The Argus Leader has 1 sports reporter now, and they don't let him do anything. He doesn't go anywhere. He covers some high school football games and the occasional Jacks game, and that's it. They don't travel. They don't go on the road. They don't cover the state tournaments like they used to. I should be careful so I don't get sued here, but it's just a shell of what it was when I was there. And towards the end of my career there, it was already heading in that direction. When I left, I was one of 2 sports reporters there, and that was it. No sports editor, no sports columnists or sports copy editors. It was just me and 1 other guy. And to be there through that entire descent was incredibly depressing and frustrating and sad. And I watched some of my best friends lose their jobs, not because they weren't good at their jobs, but because the people who ran our company did a crappy job of running the company. That's not to say that there weren't mitigating factors that were beyond some people's control. Newspapers aren't real practical these days. There are a lot of things that are just different, and you alluded to them with the instantaneous, Twitter and online and TikTok and how everything we expect to have on our phones instantaneously, that's changed. And that part probably is better. You don't have to wait for someone to drop a newspaper on your doorstep the next day to not only to find out who won, but just, what does Stu Whitney think about the game last night? What does Matt Zimmer think about the game last night? You used to have to wait till the next day. You don't have to do that anymore.
You sound like you're old school, though.
Well, I think it's great that there's so many people, yourself included, who are trying to find ways to cover the sports that deserve to be covered, do it in an entertaining and informative way to make people want to tune in, to make people want to listen to your radio show, to your podcast, to want to click on the stories that I write, that I'm putting on Sioux Falls Live, that I'm sending out on my Twitter account and other social channels and all those sorts of things. And I still think there's people who are doing a good job of that. But the fact that, across the entire state, Nate, how many people are really covering sports in South Dakota full time?
Right.
What are there, 10 of us?
That's
of us?
what I was saying. We were thinking about that. There's not very many, really.
Yeah, I mean, it's you, me, it's Ryan Deal, it's the Mitchell guys, it's, Trent Singer, who works for us now. We've added a second person, the Brookings paper, the Yankton paper, they're doing their best. But it's just, and the thing that sucks about it really is the big things are still getting covered. And if anything, they're getting covered better than they used to be. South Dakota State football and basketball is getting tons of coverage. High school football still gets tons of coverage. The thing that sucks is all those sort of secondary sports that used to still, we'd throw them a bone, so to speak. Those things get shoved aside.
Yeah.
Covering the state track meet or the state tennis tournament, or doing a story on a bowling league, or just doing a human interest story on a fisherman or a 90-year-old guy who runs a marathon. Or the great thing about a newspaper in the old days was you could have a big enough staff to say, go find a good story and put it in the newspaper, and it will find people because thousands of people subscribe to the newspaper.
Yeah.
Well, now it's the other way around. The readers tell us what they want to read, and if we don't give them that, they won't read it. So you can still go out and do that story on the 90-year-old guy who ran the marathon, but how many people are going to actively choose to click on that? Not very many, so we don't do that story anymore.
That's very interesting. Very interesting. And spoken like a old newspaper guy. I can't believe it now. Matt Zimmer, SiouxFallsLive.com. That's the place. Find him on Twitter. Yes, he's there. Matt J. Zimmer. Wanted your take, man. I appreciate you coming on. Thanks a lot.
You bet, Nate. See you.
Appreciate it. Matt Zimmer on tonight, SiouxFallsLive.com. He says South Dakota sports media coverage in the past 10 years is worse. It's worse. The audience on the question of the day yesterday, if you want that update, 57% of you voted in the poll, at least on Twitter. It said 57% said South Dakota sports media coverage in the last 10 years is better now. Better. 57% better, 43% worse. That's because you listen to this program every day. See how that works? All right. Let's get an update on the Jackrabbit best players of all time, and a lot to cover tonight. There's a big thing. I got an email from a listener. Saying, why doesn't this is a high school sports event, why doesn't it get the kind of same coverage as other events? So that's interesting today. I'm going to get into that as well. Who are the best Jackrabbit football players of all time? We'll take a look at the poll next.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share. To revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Golf Digest ranked Elkhorn Ridge Golf Club the #1 public course in South Dakota. Off Exit 17 in Spearfish, Elkhorn Ridge offers a golfing experience second to none. Play their 18-hole championship layout with your buddies. Stop into Miller Creek Pub for some drinks, or bring the family out for lunch and try out the new putting green right below Miller Creek Pub. Elkhorn Ridge Golf Club has it all. Book your next tee time at elkhornridgeresort.com.
Attention Rapid City. More big news from Gateway Autoplex. We are expanding our services with our brand new state-of-the-art auto repair shop located right behind our lot, 123 Omaha Street. Gateway Tire and Alignment. That's right, Rapid City. We're now your one-stop shop for everything auto-related. From routine maintenance to major repairs, our team of expert technicians has you covered. Plus, with our state-of-the-art equipment, you can trust that your vehicle is in the best possible hands. Visit Gateway Tire and Alignment and see why nobody beats a Gateway deal.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Cloudy tonight with a slight chance for storms. Lows around 47, southwest winds around 5 miles per hour. Storms likely tomorrow, daytime highs approaching 63, sunshine mixed with clouds at times. Partly cloudy skies tomorrow night, slight chance of thunderstorms, lows dip down to about 46. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently 57.
Hi, this is Dr. Dan Jensen at Physio. We want to be your trusted partner for physical therapy, athlete development, and sports rehab. As the official strength and conditioning partners for Stevens, Central, Douglas, and the Rapid City Rush, our team at Physio is building the best athletes in the Black Hills. If you have an athlete in the family, we offer long-term athlete development at affordable prices for middle and high school students. We also have the only board-certified sports PT in Rapid City. At our brand new facility, Physio is ready to help you perform at your best. One-on-one physical therapy, athlete development, and sports rehab, all at one place. Get started at bhphysio.com.
Hey, sports parents and ballers of all ages, Rapid City has a new sports facility that you have to check out. E3 Sports Complex on East North Street is the newest indoor sports facility featuring 4 full courts. E3 Sports is here to serve the community and wants all athletes of any age to come and experience expert training, coaching, and the opportunity to unlock your athletic potential. Memberships and court rentals are available now. Come to play at E3 Sports Complex. Learn more at e3sports.org.
Your sports, your show. From East River to West River, this is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown Show.
Welcome back in. The Nate Brown Show is live Tuesday edition of the program. Glad to have you on board. We are South Dakota's sports talk show from high school to college to the pros. Try and get you covered here every day on The Nate Brown Show. If you missed some of our guests, go to The Nate Brown Show podcast. Every show is there on demand. Apple, Spotify, Amazon, wherever you get your podcast, search The Nate Brown Show, and you've got this show live. Matt Zimmer moments ago, that was good stuff. He gave me his South Dakota State football Mount Rushmore list. Jim Langer, Mark Gronowski. He went Dallas Goddard. He went Adam Vinatieri. The Nate Brown Show Mount Rushmore list of South Dakota State football players. Okay, I'm not the Jacks expert. I'm just looking through it. I'm going, man. There's some guys in here. I went all offense, and it's tough to do. I went Mark Gronowski just because he was on this show every week for a full year straight. I'm kidding. I mean that deserves in and of itself a Mount Rushmore placement. Mark Gronowski, national championships. #1 player of the year, Walter Payton Award winner, stat category. He's 3rd in total offense, 3rd in passing. He could have still been. He's going to Iowa. So Gronowski's top. Gronowski's in. Taryn Christian, great player. Sioux Falls Roosevelt. You remember this kid, right? Taryn Christian's the real deal. I love the homegrown star. And Taryn Christian went to South Dakota State, and even though he didn't win national titles, he still put up numbers like you wouldn't believe. He leads the Jacks in every offensive passing category. Completions, yards, touchdowns, average. I mean, it's just off the chain. Career records and single-season records. So the quarterback, Taryn Christian, is on my list. So I got Mark Gronowski, Taryn Christian, great player. I went Zach Zenner because you look at it, All-American, 3 straight years, 2,000 yards, over 2,000 yards. So Zenner was the real deal. There's been some nice running backs, but Zach Zenner went on to the NFL, played for the Lions too, so he has that going. I'm going to put Zenner in there as my Mount Rushmore guy, and then I'm also going with Dallas Goedert. If you look at the tight end Goddard, one of only 3 players in program history to go 1,000-yard seasons consecutively. This is a tight end. So we're talking about 1,000-yard seasons consecutively. That's Goddard. Single game record, 4 touchdowns. Okay. Single season record, 92 catches in 2016. Goddard's just not good for the Eagles. He was really, really good for South Dakota State. 3rd in career reception still at South Dakota State. That's a tight end. And we've had some pretty good tight ends. You might want to know that. Tucker Kraft and Dallas Goedert's my guy, though. So Zach Zenner, Dallas Goedert, Taryn Christian, Mark Gronowski, the Nate Brown Show, Jackrabbit, Mount Rushmore. Who would you put up there? We've got some votes here coming in on the text line, 605-720-1067. That's the Barron Wilson text line. Jackrabbit Mount Rushmore football list. Anybody missing? Jake Winicky, wide receiver. Yeah, Winicky was really good. I'm trying to go through the wide receivers like, who was the best wide receiver? Winicky was really good. You had the brothers from Madison. Those guys were good, man. The Yankee twins. Those guys were good. I've asked the audience on Twitter to vote for the best offensive Jackrabbit football player of all time. 123 votes have come in. Best offensive Jackrabbit football player of all time. Who do you think's winning? Zach Zenner, the running back. 39% say Zenner. 27% Mark Gronowski. 26% Dallas Goedert. 8% have voted for Taryn Christian. Taryn Christian leads all passing categories. That's not bad. Not bad. Pretty good record. Career record, 7? 7 career records, and he's only getting 8% of the vote. It's tough, though. It is tough. I understand. Zach Zenner, though, the lead vote getter of the best offensive Jackrabbit football player of all time. On the Nate Brown Show Twitter poll, which is very scientific. It is very, very accurate. Zach Zenner, vote on our poll at Nate Brown Show. We are on Twitter, this show live. And I got a couple of things here. Let's get into the next hour. There's a big high school sports event. I got an email, right? It's coming up this week. And it's not covered like some other sports events. This is a state event. I got an email about it. What's the deal? We'll discuss next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Cases. If you've been injured because someone else did something wrong, call me up. I'm a trial lawyer. I've tried criminal and civil cases for decades, and I can use all of that experience to help you. I also know this, that when insurance companies know that you're represented by a trial lawyer, they take your claim more seriously, and if it is to be settled, it's settled better with a trial lawyer. Wrench Law, 605-341-1111, wrenchlaw.com.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
The hottest wins are at Cadillac Jack's Gaming Resorts. Blaze into big wins with over $80,000 in cash and prizes up for grabs, including your chance to drive off in a 2025 Chevy Trailblazer. Win $300 prize packages every Friday and Saturday from 8 p.m. to midnight, plus a $1,000 prize package at midnight. So qualify today and save the date for the grand prize drawing on Saturday, July 19th. big wins all summer long at Cadillac Jack's Gaming Resort in Deadwood. How will your night play out?
So, I just got the State Farm Personal Price Plan on my car insurance.
So you told your agent you play the bagpipes for your dog?
What? No, I didn't get that personal. My agent just helped me create an affordable price just for me. Okay, let me show you what I've been working on. Hey, Buster!
Contact me, State Farm agent Scott Carlson, to create your personal price plan today.
Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
Chatting with Brian at Anytime Auto Sales Service and Detail. Well, time to see how your car will weather the winter.
That it is. Let's make sure your vehicle is ready to handle the warm months ahead.
Being a AAA and ASE certified shop, I know you guys are well equipped to do just that.
Justin and our techs have all the experience you need in diagnosing and repairing whatever may be ailing your vehicle.
And if finances are tight for customers, you can help there?
Yes, we can. We offer the AutoPass card, which has really been a huge help for people who are in dire need of repairs. Call us with any questions on this program, or you can get an answer in minutes right from our homepage at anytimeanytime.com. Just click the AutoPass Apply Now button.
What a great option for those who have repairs that just can't wait.
Absolutely. It's been a fantastic opportunity for many people.
Anytime Auto Sales Service and Detail, everybody. The place to trust. Your complete AAA and ASE certified automotive repair specialist. See anytimeanytime.com and at the corner of Highway 79 and East Minnesota.
Anytime Auto Sales.
One more time. This is the Nate Brown Show. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
Hey, welcome in. Tuesday edition of the program. We are live on Fox Sports Radio across South Dakota. South Dakota Sports Talk Show. The Nate Brown Show is in the second hour. Ready to go. Some great guests on tap. Thanks for hanging with us. Glad you're here. It's always a great day in South Dakota. We know that. Let's get it rolling tonight. What's on tap on the Nate Brown Show? Brought to you by the new Campfire Bar, home for live sports, NHL, Stanley Cup Final, NBA Finals at the Campfire Bar. They've got the games on. They got 20 South Dakota brews on tap right there. That's the Campfire Bar. Great patio inside the new Mr. Liquor 2 off Catron Boulevard. What's on tap? Brought to you by the Campfire Bar. Check it out at the new Mr. Liquor 2 off Catron Boulevard. Keith Smith's on tap tonight. NBA analyst talking NBA Finals and more. Keith Smith on the way live from Florida. Spot Track NBA contributor. And the new Rapid City Stevens head boys basketball coach is Brandon Yellowrobe. And Chris Stabner was there 10 years. Coach Stabner, great player, of course, back in the day, South Dakota State. Coached at Stevens, did a nice job there. He just resigned. And now Brandon Yellowrobe takes over. We'll get to know Brandon. What's his vision, philosophy for the program, trying to get Stevens boys basketball back on top. Brandon Yellowrobe's coming up. The new Stevens head boys basketball coach just announced today. Let's get into, speaking of high school sports, so I have this email here. I appreciate the email from a listener saying, hey, thanks for covering high school sports, and I appreciate that. He has a question about an event coming up this week. So starting on Thursday, the state softball tournament gets going, okay? So here's the story. If you haven't followed high school sports really closely, and we try and do our best with every sport, we really do. We try and give as much coverage with interviews and stuff as we can. Can't get it all, but state softball's coming up, and softball in this state, to me, big sport. Softball used to not be sanctioned. It's just most recently been sanctioned. It's kind of these stories of when soccer back in the day was not sanctioned. Soccer's been a big sport in South Dakota, a ton of participation. It got sanctioned. I think it really helped that sport, the validity of it and winning state titles for your school and the whole thing, sanctioning it. So they decided, hey, softball used to be a club sport here. Now they sanction it, so you have high school sanctioned state tournament coming up. The state tournament, Aberdeen, Sioux Falls. And so you're looking at it. This listener emailed me and said, hey, I'm curious why the state softball tournament is not live streamed on the SDPB YouTube pages like many of the other events. And so what he's getting at there is you can go to the SDPB YouTube pages and you can watch all sorts of state events, right? I mean, we do that. You can see a ton of state events on there. So I got thinking about it. Me and Matt Kearney were kind of looking at it, and Kearney's looking at us going, well, not every single event is live streamed on SDPB. Not every event. You know, there's some of this stuff that's not. Golf's going on right now. It's not. Cross country, it's not. I mean, so there's a list. There's a short list of some of these that aren't, but then there's a long list that are, like esports. So I'm going to be careful. I'm going to be. Esports are fine. If you competed in esports, well done. It's fine. If you have kids that did that, that's great. If we can live stream esports, announcing esports, and live streaming it, which I can't follow at all, that's not my thing, we got to get softball on. I mean, it's on, but they say it's the game changer. So if you're a baseball, softball fan, you guys know this, right? Game changer, you can video stream, you got the stats, the live stats, that stuff. So they just do it game changer. The listener's saying, why isn't it available on the SDPB YouTube page? And so what I'm telling you is we'll try and get down to the bottom of it. It should be. It has to be. Softball's a big sport. That's a big sport. There's a ton of state tournaments. I mean, there's a lot of state activities, not just even sports, state activities that are live streamed on the SDPB YouTube. So I don't know the exact answer. We'll get into that. I'm going to ask you, by the way, should the state softball tournament be live streamed on the SDPB page, the YouTube page? My question of the day, I threw out statewide on Twitter. I just want to know, do you want it live streamed? You have to watch it. And I think they lose viewers through the Game Changer thing. That's my thing. So if you understand Game Changer, you got to get it, watch it on there with an account and stuff like this. So they're going to lose viewers. If they just had it live stream, SDPB YouTube page, you have it right there. You could go to their site. You get a lot more viewers. And by the way, I'll finish it off with this. One of the things that's underrated watching sports that's on right now? The Women's College World Series softball. I mean, I don't know if you guys sit back and watch sports every night like me, and I do. I'm watching the Women's College World Series. I got home last night. I'm watching Oklahoma and Texas Tech. I mean, that was off the chain. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you missed it, so go and look it up. It was off the chain last night. So very undervalued in the national sports landscape for entertainment, the Women's College World Series. Like, I like Little League World Series, the Little League in August. I like that. Women's College World Series softball, really good. Intense, fireworks, entertainment. I mean, it is good stuff. So don't you think South Dakota State softball should be live streamed on YouTube, SDPB? I believe so. You got to get, I don't know what's in the way of that, but I'm going to make a little push. You got to get that streaming like other events. 65% of you say it should be a priority to stream it on SDPB's YouTube page. 65% say make it a priority. Softball state tournament. 35% say, maybe it's up to SDPB. It's up to SDPB. Listener reaction from Chad. Yes, it should be live streamed on SDPB. Softball should be. And football playoff games should be on Friday nights. But we don't always get what we want. And I know that, Chad. Thank you very much. Let's see here. 65% say stream softball on SDPB. I'm one of you. If we have most of the other events, we got to make that one. We got to make that one a priority. We'll see if we can do that. We'll see what's standing in the way. So let's get to Keith Smith coming up, NBA analyst on the NBA Finals. And then a story from high school out of California that I'm going to get to tonight. You don't want to miss this. You know how the NCAA gets sued over everything with the transfer portal and then the NIL, and they just get sued over everything? It's now coming to high school sports. I thought this story was amazing today. It is coming up. The Nate Brown Show, second hour. Keith Smith live on the way.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
Unlock big savings and add style and security to your home with Schlage door locks from Menards. Whether you're looking for a traditional interior lock or a Wi-Fi compatible electronic lock, Menards has you covered with more than 200 options of Schlage locks in stock. Save big on all door locks. And don't forget to check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
This is what matters. This is beyond X's and O's. This is the difference mutual respect makes. This is what character looks like. This is what defines us in South Dakota. This is sportsmanship. School sports, it's not the outcome that matters most, but the way the games are played. This message presented by the South Dakota High School Activities Association and the South Dakota Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Hey sports fans, it's Rob from the Firehouse Skybox. We are Rapid City's premier sports bar with everything you want for the best game watching experience. Bring your crew and take in the action while enjoying our Firehouse craft beers, specialty cocktails, and a great menu of Firehouse burgers, nachos, and more. We have every game, every night on our 35 big screens, and there's not a bad seat in the house. Come and watch your favorite team at the number one place for sports, the Skybox, right above the Firehouse, Main Street, downtown Rapid City.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Cloudy tonight with a slight chance for storms. Lows around 47, southwest winds around 5 miles per hour. Storms likely tomorrow, daytime highs approaching 63, sunshine mixed with clouds at times. Partly cloudy skies tomorrow night, slight chance of thunderstorms, lows dip down to about 46. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently 57.
Ever dreamed of building something amazing? Builders First Source in Rapid City, Spearfish, and Hot Springs is your go-to building materials partner. Whether you're building new or giving new life to an old space, we provide step-by-step guidance from drafting and cabinetry design to lifelike visualization and top-quality materials. It's your vision, and we're here to make it real. Visit BLDR.com. Builders First Source, your Black Hills partner in building every step of the way.
Ready to be part of something big? Meet the Rapid City Sports Commission, the powerhouse behind sports in Rapid City. The commission focuses on bringing regional and national tournaments, supporting homegrown events, and creating opportunities for our kids. But it's not just games, it's a win-win for all of us. Youth sports fuel our economy. Hosting events in Rapid City means out-of-town families shop, dine, and stay with us, which boosts sales tax revenues too. To get in on the action, visit rcsportscommission.com, where we're all about the hustle.
As a rancher in western South Dakota, you know the meaning of hard work. From working cattle to working in the field, you know that the job begins before dawn and can last into the night. You also know that at the end of the day, it's more than just work. It's a way of life. When it comes to banking, you need a bank that values your time and is committed to your growth. Don't settle. Pioneer. Pioneer Bank and Trust. Local.
Pioneer Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
From high school to college to the pros, from Rapid City to Sioux Falls, the Nate Brown Show is South Dakota's sports talk show.
Welcome back in. The Nate Brown Show is on Fox Sports Radio, South Dakota Sports Talk Show, live across the state. Thanks for being here. Your sports, your show, from high school to college to the pros. Try and get you covered. Boys basketball coach. We'll talk to him coming up next. Brandon Yellowrobe, the new head man for the Raiders. We'll talk Raider boys basketball. He takes over for Chris Stabner. Let's go to the NBA. Headlines out of the NBA before Game 1 of the Finals Thursday. Keith Smith is on it. He covers this stuff with his show on YouTube, Front Office Show. Front Office Show. NBA analyst, contributor for Spot Track, Keith Smith on the Nate Brown Show tonight. Keith, good to have you. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Okay, I want your read, Keith. I started my show with, I think it's hard to be an NBA coach, meaning my job review at the end of the year, if you were to tell me, hey, best season in 25 years, made the playoffs in 4 of the last 5 years, had more wins than like other coaches combined prior years. My job review would be pretty good, yet the Knicks say not good enough. Thibodeau's out. What can you do here?
Yeah, I mean, this is tough. This is a good example of its cruel world in the NBA, and some franchises have the belief that if we're not actively competing for a title, and we can argue if the Knicks were, I think they personally were myself, then they feel like, all right, it's time to make a change. And I do always go with the philosophy of if you feel like it is time to make a change, don't wait. Things aren't going to get better. You're not going to wake up tomorrow and feel like, all right, things are really improved here. You're better off moving rather than waiting and making things awkward and potentially losing ground in important seasons. But yeah, this is an odd one, for a Knicks franchise that, quite frankly, they tend to make a lot of odd moves.
Okay, I look at it. You say the Knicks could contend for a title this year? You think they could have?
Yeah, I mean, they were in the East Finals. When you're in the one round away, you're right there. You can say they didn't get it done against the Pacers, and that's fair. And you could say even if they had, they weren't going to be any match for the Thunder, and that's probably fair too. But I mean, when you're there, when you're one of the Final Four teams standing, I would say you're in title contention.
Okay, I want to ask you about how do they what are the Knicks looking for? They say they're solely focused on a championship. So what are you looking for? Thibodeau, how would you describe his approach? Does that approach work now in today's NBA? I see him as tough, kind of gruff, yelling, didn't play a lot of players, runs his guys hard. Is that style not working?
Yeah, I think there's a couple things for the Knicks now. I think there is a sense of let's get in someone who's going to use the entirety of the roster longer and better throughout the course of the regular season to keep our guys in position to be better rested, better ready to perform when we get to the playoffs. I think there's also a sense of Thibodeau is not extremely adaptable. He does a really good job with what he does, but if that's not working, it can be really hard to make that work. And, this is one of the top defensive minds in the NBA. And the Knicks gave him a roster that was a lot of offensive-leaning players. And they had some good defenders, but their point guard, Jalen Brunson, not a good defender. Karl-Anthony Towns, the center, not a good defender. So you went into the game already down 2 pretty much on the defensive end every night because you just didn't have the right kind of personnel that your perimeter anchor and your defensive anchor in the paint. And then Tibbs also doesn't run the most imaginative offense. It's always been a little bit, kind of vanilla and bland, and it was propped up by having really, really good talent this year. So my guess is they're looking for someone who can come in, be a little bit more imaginative on both ends, be a little bit more adaptable, and then have, someone who's going to really use that full roster.
Keith Smith on tonight. Tom Thibodeau out as Knicks head coach. He gets fired today after a pretty good run for the Knicks. Find Keith on Twitter at Keith Smith NBA. So I asked Chris Danker, he's a former coach, he's a scout. I asked him, what's the biggest pressure in the NBA? Does it come from the players to the coach or the coach/GM relationship? Now, I want these types of players. Are we on the same page? Which one is a bigger factor in coaches getting fired?
Yeah, I think it's probably well, that's hard to answer. I think it's probably with the GM because we see that's where these things often get sideways. Either it's I'm not getting the right players for what I do, and that's the disconnect between the front office and the coaching staff, or the other piece is we're just not on the same page with what we're trying to accomplish here, and that's often when things get a little sideways. If the front office thinks, hey, we should be ready to win, and the coach is like, hey, we're still trying to develop guys to win, that can be a problem, and vice versa. If the front office is, hey, stop playing so many guys because we're not trying to win a meaningless game in the middle of January where we're trying to lose and prioritize ping pong balls and everything else, that's where it can get sideways. The reason I hesitated is the player side comes in to play when it's you've been together for a long time, that's when you start to see the players start to chirp a little bit. Larry Bird, who, I think we could all agree knows the game pretty well, he said he never felt like a coach should be around for more than 3 seasons. Because he felt like after 3 seasons, you start to lose guys. Now, certainly we've got exceptions to that rule. Greg Popovich was great for 20-plus years with the Spurs. Eric Spoelstra's been doing it a long time in Miami. But I think in general, I think sometimes when it's the same voice over and over again, given the same message, it can be tough for players to connect.
Okay, before we get to the NBA Finals matchup, Keith, I want your take on the Wolves. What should the Timberwolves do? People have said, would they make a trade for a Kevin Durant? Is that crazy? What can the Timberwolves do to get right back into the Western Conference Finals?
Yeah, we know they got at least somewhat down the road with Kevin Durant trade at the trade deadline. Now, that was extremely hard to pull off then with 2 teams that were over the second apron. You didn't have anybody who could really help be facilitators with salaries quite that large. So I think both teams, though, probably said, all right, we kind of agree on what the value is, but the actual execution of this is going to be difficult. And I would not be surprised at all if they pick that back up here as the offseason gets going, because there's motivation from Phoenix to move Durant. Durant is a guy who, let's just say, he lets it be known that there's only so many places he's open to playing, and Minnesota seems like one of them. So I do think we'll see some level of engagement on that. But beyond that, if I'm the Timberwolves, I'm not getting crazy here. You've coming off back-to-back conference finals appearances. You're close. You just ran into a couple of pretty good teams the last couple of seasons. So I think you just really want to be, not conservative, but let's not get too crazy or start kind of making all these moves and tearing the team down. Let's let it breathe a little bit, see where you're at, improve around the margins, and try to get back after it, because I think they're pretty close.
Okay, so you think the Wolves could take a look at Kevin Durant possibly. Let's go to Thursday, Game 1, OKC, Indiana. Is OKC a big favorite to you in this series?
They should be the favorite, but I don't think they should be this overwhelming favorite that's being portrayed, through the betting lines as well as through the media and a lot of analysts. I think they're good. I think they will win the NBA Finals, but I think the Pacers can make them work. I think Indiana counters some of the things that Oklahoma City does really well with some of the things that they do well. With the Thunder, you saw it against the Timberwolves. They're great at taking a 5-point deficit and flipping it to a 15-point lead in the blink of an eye, and they generally do that with really physical perimeter defense, forcing turnovers, especially those live ball turnovers, where they can get out and run. And then I think the Pacers, counter to that, is they're pretty good at taking care of the ball. And they rarely play with, less than 2 or 3 and sometimes even 4 good ball handlers and passers on the floor. So when you're able to do that, that counters some of that aggressiveness from Oklahoma City. On the other end of the floor, the Thunder are very heavily driven by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, still at this point in the year. And the Pacers have 2 really good on-ball defenders in Andrew Nembhard and T.J. McConnell, who will pick him up 94 feet. And they're going to make him work. And sometimes when you can make SGA have to really work hard, the Thunder don't always have easy answers to get it to the next guy. That said, I think they've got enough depth. I think the Thunder are more versatile in the ways they can play. I think they can win a high-scoring game. I think they can win a low-scoring game, and that's why I'm going to pick them. But I think this is going to be a close, long, competitive series.
Keith Smith live tonight, Front Office Show, great NBA show, NBA analyst Keith Smith tonight. Before I let you run, a lot of the national media, I said this yesterday, the national radio shows and the stuff, and then it came to fruition today. They're saying this finals, it's just not big enough markets. It's small teams. It's not huge stars. This isn't what's going to be good. I love basketball. I think this style, the general basketball fan's going to like the style. Maybe not the household names, but the basketball could be really good. So what's going to give here? I don't think the ratings are going to be off the charts, Keith, with the small markets, but the series should be good for basketball fans, no?
100%, yeah. If you love basketball, this is going to be a lot of fun. These 2 teams play 2 entertaining styles. They get up and down the floor. They make a lot of plays. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander is the MVP. He should be a household name. Tyrese Halliburton's outstanding. He should also be. But guys like Pascal Siakam, Chet Holmgren, Jalen Williams, those guys should all be very high on the list of players that even casual fans should know at this point. These guys are all really, really good. And people better get to know the Thunder, because they're probably not going anywhere for a little bit. They're probably going to be around, so people better get there. And then whenever anybody starts chirping about the ratings, one of the best responses I saw to that was someone saying, do you have a joint bank account with the NBA? Like why do you care? And that's what I don't understand. Unless you're the NBA or the broadcast partners, it doesn't really matter. And they told you how much they care about this by giving them billions upon billions of dollars in media rights contracts. So, I kind of think the people who are yelling the most, outside of Knicks fans who I get are upset and angry right now, I think those people probably weren't going to watch anyway. And I don't know how much any of them really like basketball, but I think the people who love basketball, they're going to tune in. And I've been encouraging people, hey, give it a chance, because I think you'll really like what you see out of these two teams.
Yeah, people say, I like college basketball. I like that style. I want defense and people getting after it with intensity. I said, these are kind of the teams. They don't shoot threes all day. They get after you defensively. I think you're going to like this. Keith Smith on tonight, Game 1 of the NBA Finals. Front Office Show is his show. Find him on Twitter at Keith Smith NBA. Follow him there. Keith, good to have you. Thanks a lot.
Thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Appreciate your time. Keith Smith on the Nate Brown Show. Spot Track NBA contributor. His show is Front Office Show. Check it out. And on Twitter, at Keith Smith NBA. Great NBA follow. Follow him on Twitter. Good analysis from Keith Smith, live from Florida. OKC, Indiana. I'll make my prediction coming up Thursday. Got to make the predictions for these big series, all the championships. You got to make the prediction. I'm pulling Pacers. I want the Pacers. I'll make the prediction for the series coming up on Thursday. All right, let's go to high school basketball. Brandon Yellowrobe, he's the new Stevens head boys basketball coach. What is he going to do with the program? Why did he want the job? Stevens head boys coach Brandon Yellowrobe. His interview's next.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Medicine is everywhere you need us to be, on the sidelines supporting our local athletes, at our clinic locations throughout the region, and at our Ortho Express walk-in clinic when you don't have time to wait. We're here when you need us, working as a team to make your comeback stronger than ever. Getting stronger, getting better, getting you back to your best self. The life of an athlete has its uncertainties, wins and losses, injury and recovery. In the Black Hills area, athletes can always count on Monument Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, here for whatever moves you.
Get away from it all in the great outdoors for lasting family memories with a new or pre-owned RV from Dakota Discount RV. We make your RV experience fun and easy by providing you with a quality recreational vehicle, competitive pricing, and professional inventory of fifth-wheelers, travel trailers, toy haulers, and live-in horse trailers allows us to save our customers thousands of dollars compared to most dealers. Stop by and see us at Dakota Discount RV, 3330 East Mall Drive across from Cabela's and on JB Road, Blackhawk.
In the past, if you needed auto body repair, you had to get multiple estimates and then try to get your car into a shop for repair. Well, not anymore. In most cases, you can stop by one shop, get your estimate, and schedule your car for a repair. The question now becomes which shop you choose. If you like quality, choose J&J Truck and Auto Body. They have ASE, PPG, and Gold iCar certifications that allow them to offer you a nationwide warranty. And they'll work with your insurance company so you're pleased with the outcome. J&J Truck and Auto Body, 1513 East Philadelphia.
Collins Siding has been the region's premier window siding, door, and gutter installation specialist since 1974. They use only the highest quality materials and never compromise on their workmanship. Collins Siding is licensed, bonded, and their estimates always include labor, materials, and applicable permits and taxes. Collins Siding has been providing top quality service and exceeding high standards for over 45 years, and you can find out how by visiting them at 2016 Cherry Avenue. Collins Siding, 2016 Cherry Avenue, Rapid City.
Ever since Barron's Wilson Funeral Home first opened their doors in Rapid City 140 years ago, they have continued to make personal service their #1 priority. In your time of grief, they offer a personal touch by being at your side through every step of the funeral process. They answer difficult questions and guide you toward other professional services you may need. See for yourself the wide variety of services they can provide for you by visiting their website at barronswilson.com.
You're listening to The Nate Brown Show, also streaming right now on X. Follow us and watch the show live at Nate Brown Show.
Welcome in the Nate Brown Show live every afternoon drive on Fox Sports Radio across South Dakota. It is South Dakota Sports Talk Show from high school to college to the pros, trying to get you covered across the board. Thanks for making us part of your day. Hope you've had a great Tuesday. The Nate Brown Show live on Twitter right now, at Nate Brown Show. So remember, if you can't catch us on the radio, take us with you on your phone right there, at Nate Brown Show. We're streaming live right now. Well, we covered a lot of Rapid City Stevens, and they've got a new boys basketball coach getting ready to go. He's going to take over for Chris Stabner. We had Coach Stabner on over the years. He was at Stevens 10 years. He resigns, and the Raiders' new boys basketball coach is Brandon Yellowrobe. And he joins us on the Pizza Ranch studio hotline. Coach, good to have you on for the first time. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thanks for having me.
Well, I appreciate it. So let me ask you, people say, hey, what's the story now? What's Coach all about? So I'm going to ask you, you do a bunch of basketball training, you development and skill work and all that stuff. You got a long history there. Why'd you want to dip your toes here into Stevens High School coaching?
Well, it's an incredibly prestigious job that has a school with a very, very rich history. I mean, you got professional athletes, Olympians that have come out of this school. So the opportunity to take the helm at a school like this doesn't come around very often. And I was honored that they'd even consider me, and I feel even more honored that they chose me to lead these young men into the future. So very excited.
Okay.
Very excited for this opportunity.
I want to ask you about your, people say, okay, what's the philosophy here? What do you want to build at Stevens? Chris Stabner had a long history of playing basketball and coaching for 10 years, so there's probably some new stuff that you're going to want to do, but what's the Brandon Yellowrobe program look like?
A lot like what I do in my skill session trainings. I think details matter. I think you stack small, little details that a lot of times seem very unimportant to people who might just be watching casually. But to somebody like me who studied this game for a long time, certain aspects of footwork, catching to shoot every single time. I mean, even if you're not a shooter, I've had athletes in the past who weren't strong three-point shooters, but their eyes immediately go to the rim, which causes a little longer closeout, puts more pressure on the defense. Those little details add up. And so I would say that my philosophy is that I want to focus on very disciplined, small details that we can put together, and then I want to let the kids play. I really want to focus on creating an environment of freedom for athletes. I want them to understand what a good shot is, and then I want them to get into those positions naturally and feel confident to shoot. Obviously, being somebody who does a lot of work in skill work and building athletes that way, I have a high belief in athletes putting in, that extra time, extra shots, doing that kind of stuff, and earning that ability, that right with that ability to get those shots up in games. So the goal would be to get up and down the floor. I like to press. I like pressure defense. I want a fast break. I want to get up and down. And that kind of play style requires athletes who can think on the floor. But as a coach, you got to provide an environment of freedom.
Okay.
And allow them to kind of get up and down. So
Brandon Yellowrobe joining us tonight, Rapid City Stevens head boys basketball coach. He just got announced today. He's going to take over the Raider program. He's here on the Nate Brown Show on Fox Sports Radio. Wanted to talk to him about the future of the program. So I say, okay, Coach, do you adjust to the players? Meaning, I've got a 6'8" post. I've got a 6-foot guard. Do you adjust to the players, your style, or are the players going to be able to be free? Do you have a set, I'm going to go back to the basket post guy, or is this a system where the players have the freedom?
I think that any good coach would look at the talent that they have, the size that they have, the speed that they have. They would adjust game plans to suit the players that they have. A lot of the days of traditional back-to-the-basket players are becoming less. I like to teach post moves even to my guards. I think there's a certain amount of post-move work that you teach at every single level for every athlete that just makes them better pivoters, that makes them better finishers, even when you're picking it up off the bounce, getting on 2 feet. So my philosophy initially probably isn't back to the basket, let's get it inside, kick it out, older styles. In that, it's not, instinctually what I go to first, but most certainly if you had an athlete that has that type of back-to-the-basket ability, you're going to utilize that.
Yeah.
And that becomes a part of the game plan.
No, I get you on that. What about the 3-ball, Coach? We all watch high school NBA. The high school kids are watching the NBA players. Do you got to shoot threes? Do you got to shoot a lot of threes?
I think you need to shoot confident shots that you can make. My criteria, what I'll tell athletes that, in a system of shooting and what you want to accomplish, what's a good shot? Are you within range? Are you squared and you balanced? And do we have rebounders? If you have those 3-4 things in place, then if it's a shot that you can shoot and you're open to shoot it, then take it. Again, I'm really big on athletes getting in the gym, putting in the time to earn the right to shoot. And if you've done that and you're hitting shots consistently in practice, then, let's go. Let's get up good shots. Let's get, our rebounders in place. The 3-ball's changed the game. It's definitely changed the way certain teams look at shot selection. At all levels, you see more and more athletes choosing to not shoot the mid-range or even giving up layups to look for open threes. And I think that's a bit extreme, but I do like the 3-ball. I want players to shoot with confidence, and that's my biggest thing.
All right, I wanted to play for Brandon Yellowrobe. I like the 3-2, Coach. I wanted to go for you. All right, R.C. Stevens, head boys basketball coach. He's on tonight. Brandon Yellowrobe just got the announcement today, and he's taken over the Raider basketball program. So you've talked about the history. Stevens can have some good basketball now. You look statewide, man, the AA level is stacked. How much work are the guys going to have to put in? I know you say you got to work in the off season. How much commitment do you have to have in a varsity program?
I'm a big fan of athletes that play multiple sports. I know that coming from a guy who teaches skill basketball year round, and in the age of specificity, I think there's some stuff being lost on athletes playing multiple sports. There's a great book out there called The Playmaker's Advantage, and it talks a lot about the fact that athletes who play multiple sports, they're better cognitively in athletics. They tend to have better footwork, better hand speed. It boosts your ability to do things. So I think in general you want to see your athletes being athletic all year round. You want to see improvement in all aspects of athleticism. You want to see guys that study the game a little bit. I mean, not that you got to be breaking down film in the off season, but you hope some players are watching basketball. The WNBA is, season's going right now, and there's some really good basketball there. Really good things to see offensively and defensively, during the season. Watching college basketball, just studying the game. As human beings, we're people who, people learn from watching things. The neuroplasticity in the brain is that it wants to mimic what it sees. So the more basketball you watch, the more you're around the game, but the more sports that you play in general. We just want to see athletes getting better.
Coach, go ahead.
Yeah. I just think, overall, we want to see improvement, and I couldn't say definitively how much we need to improve to compete at a state level, and I'll tell you what I'll tell the guys when I get in front of them. We just need to work on making sure that we're a little bit better every single day, and we can't compare ourselves to anybody else when it comes to that. Just try to get in the gym, try to get into an athletic situation, and try to improve a little bit every day, and we'll let everything else take care of itself.
Okay, so now you go ton of skill work, and you do a lot for the youth. You run a good program. Now you're going to be coaching varsity basketball. What do you want to get out of this, Coach? What do you want to accomplish?
I think there's a little bit inside every single coach that wants to be the coach that they didn't have, or maybe reach athletes that they saw coaches just didn't reach at that time, or didn't have the skills to reach. Or I was a gym rat growing up, and now that I know some of the things that I know about the physical body and how to take care of myself, if I'd have known that stuff when I was younger, you'd be a different athlete. So now that you have that knowledge, now that you have that desire to be around the game all the time, you want to pass that down. You want to give these kids the opportunity to do some of the things that, I wasn't able to do. And I know, moving into this new era of basketball, like you said, with the three-point shot and with offenses changing and a lot of that, I played in systems before the shot clock where we were trying to win the game 30-20.
Right.
So in these new offensive systems, I would have loved to have played on a team that, wanted to put up shots and wanted to get up and down the floor. And so now that I have that opportunity, you want to be able to provide that to these kids. And more than anything, it's about youth development. It's about giving kids opportunities, not just to compete in these athletic, arenas, but we're trying to make healthy adults who can go out into the workforce and can problem solve and communicate and do things that, the world needs from us right now at a time when jobs are changing and technology does stuff. You need communicators and people who can solve problems, can work together. And so the goal is that we're enabling these youth and teaching these youth those very important techniques and skills that they're going to use in the real world.
I'm ready to go play for you, Coach, but you don't need me. I'm past my prime. Yeah. I'm ready. You got me, but you're ready to get the Stevens Boys program going. Brandon Yellowrobe, that's the new Stevens head boys basketball coach. He's in today on the Nate Brown Show. We'll be covering Stevens throughout the year. Coach, good luck to you. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me.
I appreciate it. Brandon Yellowrobe on the Nate Brown Show tonight. He's the new Rapid City Stevens head boys basketball coach. Takes over for Chris Stabner. That was a good discussion. Good insight. Brandon Yellowrobe, head coach for the Raiders. We'll keep an eye on it as he gets this program going. Stevens boys basketball under new leadership now. All right, who's hot and who's not? I've got a Vikings player, a legend that makes my list. We got to pay our respects next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Our locally owned Ace stores are committed to helping our neighbors and our communities. And because we're in the neighborhood, we can deliver almost anything you need. So shop in store or online for whatever your home or yard needs. Choose from top brands like Milwaukee, Steel, Traeger, and Benjamin Moore. Then pick up in-store, curbside, or we'll deliver your order right to your home. Around the block, what you need in stock, with people who know how to help. See acehardware.com for details.
Consumers everywhere are rediscovering the benefits of buying locally produced food. Not only is it fresher, tastier, and more nutritious, it's also good for the local economy. And did you know the Village Hearth and Artisan Hearth hamburger and hot dog buns and rolls you love are baked right here in the Midwest? With the state-of-the-art bakeries and facilities throughout the Midwest, freshly baked buns and rolls are delivered fresh every day to your neighborhood grocers. Village Hearth and Artisan Hearth buns and rolls, locally baked, delivered fresh daily.
Ready for the wildest night of your life? Bingo Loco hits the Box Elder Event Center on June 28th. A 21 and over event where bingo meets rave. Think dance-offs, lip-sync battles, throwback anthems, confetti showers, and epic prizes. Even a vacation getaway. Doors open at 6, show starts at 7. Book the Bingo Loco room package at Courtyard by Marriott. Includes your stay, 2 tickets, and breakfast. Don't miss it. Get your tickets now at thebox.live.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Cloudy tonight with a slight chance for storms. Lows around 47, southwest winds around 5 miles per hour. Storms likely tomorrow. Daytime highs approaching 63, sunshine mixed with clouds at times. Partly cloudy skies. Tomorrow night, slight chance of thunderstorms. Lows dip down to about 46. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently 57.
If you want the peace of mind that your next pre-owned vehicle is the best it can be, you want Honda True, and you only find it at Danny Manholt Rushmore Honda. Our Honda certified pre-owned vehicles are thoroughly inspected and backed by 7-year, 100,000-mile powertrain coverage, up to 2 complimentary oil changes, 24/7 roadside assistance, inspection report, and 3-day exchange. You simply can't buy the wrong vehicle. Search our inventory at honda-true.com or see us at Denny Manholt Rushmore Honda.
All right, we're talking with Britt Wicked at Elevate Performance Physical Therapy for an Elevate Performance Health Minute. Right now, it's baseball season, and one thing I know with baseball, I hear about this overused shoulder injury.
It's something that we see a lot clinically. Repetitive motions place ourselves at an increased risk for sustaining an injury, especially if it's a movement that hasn't necessarily been done a lot previously.
And one thing, some people say, well, you just have to rest, but not all the time.
Yeah, so it's good to take a break in a sense. But that doesn't necessarily mean do nothing at all. If you're experiencing symptoms like that and having soreness with throwing in particular, that's a good time to be seen by a physical therapist to try to assess the root cause of your symptoms. You could have weakness in the rotator cuff. We could have some shoulder instability. There's a lot going on with throwing, so it's important to have that thoroughly assessed to get you back on the road to recovery.
Get started at elevateperformancesd.com.
Your sports, your show. From East River to West River, this is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown Show.
All right, who's hot and who's not tonight on The Nate Brown Show every night at this time? Who's hot and who's not? Wrapping up the show, brought to you by the Pizza Ranch, home of everyone's favorite buffet, your locally owned and operated Pizza Ranch tonight. Who's hot category? Let's pay our respects to the great Jim Marshall. Vikings fans, you know him. Of course, he had the record before Brett Favre broke it, the consecutive game record. Jim Marshall, the tough-nosed defensive player for the Vikings, 282 straight games. The great Jim Marshall. He's a great player. I don't care what people are looking at. It's like, oh, did he have all the stats and all the stuff? Jim Marshall, one of the all-time greats in the NFL, passing away today at 87 years old. Rest in peace to Vikings great Jim Marshall. Tough guy. Also in our Who's Hot tonight, I'm going to throw out Major League Baseball. I just saw this come in from Fox. Major League Baseball viewers are up 10% on Fox this season. So people like to still say, oh, baseball, I don't know. Major League Baseball viewership is up 10% on Fox this season. In our Pizza Ranch Who's Not category tonight, it's another baseball thing. What's going on? College baseball is going on right now, the qualifying for the World Series. The Florida coach, Kevin O'Sullivan, was a jerk to the site directors the other day, and now the Wake Forest coach is yelling slurs at the pitcher, or no, I should say at the batter in the game the other day. Baseball coaches, simmer, relax. You guys don't have to be the biggest, anyway, in the building. Thanks for playing. I mean, baseball coaches, just take it easy. See you tomorrow on the Nate Brown Show. The podcast going up now.